Final measure. Is that any good, or is that just something that used to be good? Stick around and I'll give you my thoughts, my build, and I'll break it down. Alright guys, at the first of the video, or somewhere in the video, I did say that I would show you the reload off of this LMG in this build. So I'm going to go ahead and quick edit and put this right at the beginning of the video, and therefore you will be able to see it. Now in the video you do hear me say that I will show you, but I didn't never get around to it, so I went ahead and made this really short clip, edited it, put it into the video, and here you go. So here you see how fast this can reload. And that is the reload of the LMG. Hope you enjoyed. Hello guys, and welcome back to another Division videos by yours truly, JustHitSquare. And make sure to hit that like button and share this and subscribe. It would really help me out, guys, if you can do that. Alright, so here's the thing, guys. This is the last build, number 15, that I can remember, I do believe. And I said after I did these builds, all these builds that I have done is going to be what I feel is the way that they should be ran and what they was intended to be ran as. So just letting you know, this is the last video on all the builds. Now the next builds I do builds will be hybrids. They will be named weapon builds and so on and so forth. So that's at least, what if I just top of my head, that could be 30 plus more builds. And by then we'll have 1.7 surely. So then, maybe we get a gear score bump. If we don't, then whatever. But anyways, guys, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to actually briefly do this one, because this one is just, to me, this is the worst gear set, hands down. I would only say this is useful for a few things, and this is only after one thing. This used to be the tanky dark zone build. People would run in there with final measure and people hitting them with sticky bombs and bullies and all these other things, and they wouldn't take much damage because you was taking the impact from the exotic resilience. But we're going to go ahead and get into here and show you this build that I have made. Now grant you, I can max my exotic resilience, damage resilience, but I've chosen not to, just because I like the other pieces and so on and so forth. But I do have the piece to do it with. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and get into this build. I chose an LMG with this build. It's just more of a tanky type build in a way, in my eyes, and this can be used for PvE, but in those damn grenaders, it helped you out a lot right there, especially. And I believe Lost Signal or whatever, the new incursion that I've not even set fucking foot in, this is supposed to be a really good build for that. Because there's an area inside there that you should use final measure to consume all that stuff. So, and plus our first incursion we ever did have in a game, of course, that is another one that you could do for the mortars. But anyways, guys, so we're going to go ahead and get into it. 230,334 DPS, 307,731 toughness, 128,534 skill power. Now, firearms is 5688, stamina is 5411, and electronics is 3849. Now, as usual, as you do know, I do always, mostly 99.9% of the time when I make a build, I try to get everything equal across to actually get my talents unlocked on my guns. And then once I do that, then I start pushing other areas to make them better, and so on and so forth. Now, of course, these talents could be better to suit what we're doing here, but considering that I'm perfectly fine with running it this way. Now, they will not be a show off of this build as far as going out to the world and showing you what it can do and so on and so forth. The numbers should speak for themselves. If you run any kind of exotic damage resilience, you do know how much you can take, how much you can't take. So we will go over that. But anyways, guys, let's get into it. All right, so I'm only going to show off one gun because that's the only gun I'm ever going to be using with this build if I ever do use it. So here we go. We got an MG5 with a 15% damage to target out of cover, 15.7k a bullet with 843 RPMs and 110 in the mag. It's got ferocious, which damage against elites and named enemies is increased by 10%. Swift reloading is 25% faster, and we got competent weapon damage is increased by 10% for 15 seconds after using the skill. All right, so we all want that reload speed when it comes to an LMG because they're so damn long when it takes for them to load or reload. And I will be showing off this once. This is the same build or the same gun I do use with, I believe, Lone Star. So I will show you the reload if you haven't seen that. I will show you how fast it can reload. Now, ferocious, you know, this is more of a PvE build if you really thought about it because, you know, damage against elites and named enemies is increased by 10%. So like I said, you know, I named off what you could use it against and benefit it from. Now, as far as the PVZ or the DZ, excuse me, I haven't used it in there, and I would feel like more than likely this would be good for you know, your sticky bomb and per se your seeker mines, you know, against you and so on and so forth. You know, you should be able to get away from those because, you know, a lot of people use those things. All right, but let's not talk about the gun really. Well, actually, we'll finish the gun and then we're going back over to our skills right quick. All right, so we have a 116.5% magazine size. Or no, sorry, I got too many damn guns, guys. The MG5, it has a 120.5% magazine size, 2.5% critical hit chance, 5.4% rate of fire. We got a large optics with a 12.5% stability, 2% accuracy, and 4% critical hit damage. We got a muzzle that's compensator, 11.5% stability, 4% critical hit damage, 2% accuracy. We got a underbarrel that's 29% reload speed, 2.5% stability, and 4.5% optimal range. Now, as you can see, I do got a lot of stability in this damn thing because I want it to be steady. It shoots really fast, holds a lot in the mag, and I want to be able to reload it quick. So we want the best of everything here, and we tried. Now, here we go. We got the not the booster shot, but I actually went with defibrillator with this one just because it's the lowest on the cooldown. I really don't got a lot of skill, and I really felt like, you know, 61,000 isn't too bad. Base on a base self-heal is 81,000, which that's a lie right there anyways, the 61. So we should get a pretty good, decent amount of heal because I've got 6% performance mods. So we'll show you that in a moment. But anyways, you know, I chose that just because I never hardly ever choose it. But to help my teammates out, plus, you know, it's the shortest cooldown. So without any skill power, that's what I picked. And, you know, this is just for shits and giggles. This is immunizer. Now, you're already getting a bunch of exotic damage resilience with this build, and you'll see that I've got a mask that even helps with stuff like this. But this is going to make it to where if we actually did get put on fire or bled or whatever, this is going to make it to where that does not happen if we're in that range. And plus, you know, it's, you know, I just picked it pretty much because it suits the build, okay? And then, of course, we got the recovery link. The talents, we have Adrenaline, we have Battle Buddy in case people are standing in my heals and stuff. I'm getting my skills back quicker. Now, kill a hostile while any skill is deployed to extend any active skills duration by 10%. Now, that goes along with, you know, right here. No, I picked Revive. My bad. I'm getting in a big very hurry. I'm not. I'm picking Triage. Triage should have been the one that I did pick just because I want to be able to cool my skills down more. I don't have a lot of skill power, so I'm trying to get my skills back quick, healing more because I'm going to be getting a lot with this build more than likely. And also kill a hostile when any skill is deployed to extend any active skills duration by 10%. That's going to be tech support. Not many people use it, but considering that if I killed somebody while any of my stuff is laid down, then bam, I got an duration. And plus I do the 1 is none headshots. I'm trying to make my LMG as stable as possible so I can get a benefit out of this. Alright, now let's go back, and before we continue on the gear, let's go in here. We'll show you I got a 7.5% critical hit chance, 50% critical hit damage, and 85% headshot damage. Now stability is a plus 26. The range is 31 meters. Reload is 3.13 seconds, which that isn't too bad, you know, for an LMG. Damage to release is 25%. We're actually not going to show off all of this. I mean, my max health is 206,167. Armor is 33% exactly. Protection from elites is 15%. That's always good. All right, now let's go down here. So exotic damage resilience stacks at a 60%. All right, it stops. I'm only 4% away, and the reason why I didn't go to 60 is I'll show you the gear why I didn't, and I can still do it if I wanted to. Now you got your resistances and stuff like that. I'm kind of resistant for some of that. All right, so here we go. We're going to start with this. This is a rapid chest piece, hence not a lot of skill power. I'm going to try to cool down my healing skills mostly as fast as possible, and this is a good way to do it. It's 1778 on firearms, 2001 armor, 7% skill haze, 14,811 skill or health, excuse me, 50% ammo capacity, and we have a 266 firearms mod with 2.5% exotic damage resilience. We have a 245 firearms mod with 2.5% exotic damage resilience. All right, now we'll go over here. We've got a final measure backpack at 1304 armor with 441 stamina, 1241 electronics. Now that's with, that would be actually with the, right down here, I'll show you. That would be with the stamina mod and everything to increase up. All right, so 13,064 skill power, 52% ammo capacity. We have a 236 stamina mod with 2.5% exotic damage resilience. We have 6% first aid self heals to go with that, guys. So we worked it that way. All right, now we got a 971 armor spec ops mask that has got the talent of rehabilitated on it. Heals 2% every second during status effects. So if somehow our which more likely our support station, if it's down, if we do actually take damage from a status effect, fire, bleed, you know, blindness, all these things, it's a status effect, then this is going to heal us. If I take damage during a status effect, this will heal us 2% every second during status effect. So yeah, I've took an effect, you know, I'm trying to make a good build with this, so I took that into account. And the 1512 firearms, we got a 10% exotic damage resilience off of that, and a blind elf resistance of 15%, and a firearms mod, 245 firearms, 2.5% exotic damage resilience. All right, now we got a 981 armor gloves, final measure gloves, that is 1266 stamina, 1186 LMG damage, 17% critical hit damage, and 5% critical hit damage, or chance, excuse me. All right, and we have a knee pad, 1648 armor on a final measure knee pad with a 1498 stamina, 8% exotic damage resilience, 28% shot resistance, 15% damage to elites, and 30% burn resistance. And it'll actually have a 266 stamina mod with 2.5% exotic damage resilience and a 6% first aid self heal. Now for our last piece, we got a final measure holster at 985 armor with a 1248 firearms, 1261 stamina, 1253 electronics, and 21.5% reload speed, hence making our reload speed on our gun even that much better. And we have a 6% first aid self-heal performance mod in that. Now, so if nobody does know, then I will tell you right here. For 2 pieces of final measure, you get a 25% exotic damage resilience. For 3 pieces, you get a 15% protection from elites. And for 4 pieces, when in range of hostile grenades or mortars, defuses them and adds grenades to your inventory. It can only happen once every 8 seconds. So used to, we could get 50% exotic damage resilience, okay? and it was so good to have that. But I'm going to show you pretty much one of the last things. Here's the thing, guys. You did see I have 56% exotic damage resilience, and I'm going to show you that in fact the exotic damage resilience does cap out at 60%, and I could have that. All I have to do is go to this final measure vest, right? Go over here to character, come down here to survivability, and come down to exotic damage resilience 60%. Now think about it this way. I was 56 before I put the chest on. Now I'm 60, and this chest piece gives me a extra 10%. So there you go. 10% on to 56 should be 66, but only needed 4% more to do it. Now, why do I not do it? It's simple, because this chest helps me more. If I could get this chest and roll up, a tribute to exotic damage resilience, then I would. But until then, I'm not, and then I can have still benefit plus max exotic damage resilience. But I can have it max right now, but I choose not to because I want that talent off of that chest because I don't have a lot of skill power. Now, guys, I really do enjoy this. Hopefully I do enjoy making builds for you. Do I like this build? Hell no. But do I recommend this build? It's a pretty solid build. I've been out in the world. I've played with it a little bit, but I've not went into DZ. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's a pretty good build. The reason why I'm not going to show you it, because simply put, trying to find grenaders and stuff out through the world and things like that can be a bitch sometimes. I could try to do something and do to a cutscene and go in and do something else, like show you off a little bit more, like maybe go up in DZ6 and see them bitches hit me with the grenades and stuff like that. But I feel like this is self-explanatory build. So, guys, if you like the video, if it's helped you, then like, share, and subscribe. This has been JustHitSquare, and this is your last build, gear set build, that I am completing. So, I will be making a playlist specifically for these builds, and every build that I do from now on will go into that build. So, if you don't want to look through all the other division videos and try to find my other builds, then you will have a specific playlist to do that. Now, all those builds in there, they're not completely updated to the 1.6.1, but I feel like I'm going to wait till 1.7 to see if the gear score does go up. If there's a dramatic difference, then I will be updating thereon and therefore. So, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. This has been JustHitSquare. I will see you next time.